This conference will now be recorded.
A very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Okay, so yeah, last session we were discussing about the shell scripting, and we're actually trying to set up all the components, but all the components not all the components are not working as expected, so that's a different thing. So but we are actually trying to set up the installation scripts, and okay, so we're just trying to okay, we're just trying to proceed with the just installation functionality. Okay, the functionality is we'll check it later by enabling all the components. Okay, but for now we'll just complete the other remaining components also. I think shipping, until shipping is done yesterday, so today we'll just proceed that particular payment and RabbitMQ, so that we can what we call so test it out everything in one shot. Okay, so let me go to our account. Yeah, so these are the different servers which are there. I think we need to front end 2, 3, 10. Yeah, so this launch date of this one is 12th 7:42, and after that it's all I'll say this as a RabbitMQ. Okay, so let me open the code. IntelliJ. All right, so let's put it in one window. So set up RabbitMQ. Okay. So after okay, RabbitMQ, the steps what we have. Go there. Go to the VT. RabbitMQ. So first you need to install Erlang because it depends upon Erlang. So like let's say info, I'm going to say that so install Erlang, and then start the question mark is Erlang install installation. So log_file. Okay, so these are one, and the next one is you're actually trying to set up the RabbitMQ repositories. So that's where I will say this as so info. So set up RabbitMQ repos and $log_file. So start $question mark and MQ yum repos setup. Okay, you're checking the status, and after that what you're doing, so you're actually installing the RabbitMQ server. So info install RabbitMQ server and start $question mark Q server. Okay, and after that, so start your RabbitMQ machine. Service. It's going to be this. Okay. And after that, so create an application user. Create TurboShop app user in RabbitMQ. Okay, so I'm removing this command. I'm removing this. The third command is a failure. Ultimately, these two things also is a failure. At least not these two things. This user creation itself is a failure. And yeah, so I'm just going to check the last one itself. So, question mark. Shop app user create. Okay. That's it. And I'll go with connecting to the server. Yeah, it's also there. Sudo yum install make -y. sudo make RabbitMQ. So it is actually giving some outputs, so that's where I better prefer to put it some outputs. Okay. Yeah, you see this Erlang installation, second time if I run it, the Erlang installation is failing. Okay, so why it is saying, okay, let's take a look on the log file. So you take a look there, so it's actually telling does not update install package. So it's the package is already installed. So the error basically here is the package is already installed, and the package is already installed if you try this way basically. So yum install RabbitMQ-server. If you do this way, it will say that the package is already installed, but you're not doing that actually. You're giving the source of the RPM. Since you're giving the source of RPM, the behavior of your M command is it will fail if the package is already there. So what you need to do, of course, you know what to do, right? So you need to check, so yum list all and pipe grep for ESL align. So I will, so you will, or you just go for yum list this one. Okay, all I need to do is yum list that one. So if that is listing the package, echo $? Okay, if that is listing the package, then the package is there. If the package some junk content I'm giving, if the package will not be there, so then what I'm going to get echo $? Here I'm going to get exit status 1. So I'm going to catch this and I'm going to say that yum list this one. Okay, yum list this one. Log underscore file and case $1 in case $? In. Okay, if it is equal to 0, so there is nothing to do basically, right? So there is nothing to do, and here I'm going to say that this is done as 0. Okay, and so else it's actually going to be as else and going to be 1 and okay, this, and you go for double semicolon and you go for Azak. Okay, so and here also it's gonna be here. Okay, so I just corrected that particular scenario. All right, and so now I'll just go and say that again. All right, perfect. Even if I run it one more time, it should not fail. Rerun should not fail. Any scripts reruns should not fail. You should handle that scenarios. So that's a quite important thing. Okay, cool. All right, so that's RabbitMQ. Let's come to the last part, so which is payment. Okay. So payment info and set up RabbitMQ component. No, it's not RabbitMQ, it's payment. So how are we doing the payment part? So let's come back here. So the payment is this. So you need to install Python. Okay. So just let me update the steps here one by one. And what next? So user add RoboShop. Okay, those are the next steps. These are the next steps. And what next steps? These are the next steps. And finally, these are the another next steps. Okay, so I mean, just to avoid the screen swapping, I just want to put it here. Now, what is this? So info installing Python 3. Okay, so log underscore file. Now start $? So what you're actually trying to do? So Python 3 install. Is this or not? You're going to see. Okay, and so the next one is info, and the next one is installing Python. After that, so you remember to add a RoboShop user, there is some logic we already used. Okay, there is no point in so putting it again here. So I will just, I mean, putting in the sense like making the logic again. This logic is already there. So I will go to payment.sh. This one, create application user. So that's fine, done. Okay, after that, so what you need to do is you need to go into the RoboShop directory. All right, so the next one is a download artifacts, right? So download underscore artifact. Okay, artifact or artifacts. Let's take a look. Catalog.sh download underscore artifact. Okay, fine, download underscore artifact. This is the artifact. Okay, so then here and slash, and what we have done, so it's actually going to be a component. So here you're giving, okay, caps component. You're creating a directory, this one. So go inside that particular directory directly. Okay, cd2 directly to the component directory. Okay, and after that, so first of all, here I need to say that info. So download payment artifact. Okay, so here start. I think start is not needed because that will be taken care directly from here. Okay, just download artifact, that's fine. The start will be printed from this download artifact function itself. Okay, if you go to the common.sh, so we already have that. So download artifact, so here only we're actually printing the stat, which is fine. All right, so then you go there, so ultimately you're going to do the unzip. So then info, so what you're going to do is extract downloaded artifacts. Okay, so then here actually unzip, I'll give a overwrite option if it is already there. So $log underscore file. Okay, and what is the next one? So here also mkdir-p, let's not it fail. If the directory already exists, then go into the directory, then unzip the file, then look for the status, okay, whether it is successfully unzipped or not. So artifacts extract. Let's extract artifacts. Extract. All right, so the next one is you're already there in that location only, and so first of all I have to do is the next thing I have to do is I have to set the permissions. You remember, so when you're doing as a root user, these are all expected to run as a normal user, so that's where RoboShop RoboShop, and so this one and -r. Okay, so go into the directory and go with this. So install info and also install Python dependencies. Okay, and after that, so here it's going to be a start $question mark. So dependencies is done. Okay, download or install or whatever you call it. Okay, and finally, so you're going to actually move the file, and then we'll do take care here. I think for those, I think I have some steps here. I think this need not to be here. You can just specify this. So configure catalog startup script. So catalog, no, it's actually a payment startup script. In the payment, actually, so what all the variables you have in payment. Payment system d.service file. So you have so many things. Cart. So we have to give cart. Okay. So then what is the next one? So just to avoid, so look like, so junky command. So what I can do is any command I can just give, like let's say here echo. So hello. If I want to continue to the next line, I don't want to put it there. So you can give backslash, and you can just give world and backslash by and enter. Like this, it's actually a single input, but you're actually putting in multiple things. Okay, so that's why I said -i. Also I can use slash, enter, slash, like that. Multiple slashes I can use. So just to make it look like a decent one. So slash enter, so that you will understand it in an easier way. Okay, so now you see this slash. Yeah, so now -e. So what you can do, the next one is user host. User, and the next one is what is the next one? AMQP host. It's actually going to be RabbitMQ-test. Okay, and what is the next one? MQP. It's already there. RoboShop and RoboShop 123, which we don't need. Okay, fine. This much is fine. Okay, so three variables, and after that we are going to do that. Okay, and after that, set up system D service for payment, and it's actually going to be a payment. It's actually going to be a payment, and even or else actually we used a variable component, and it's actually payment, and payment. Okay, so the payment is done finally. I'll just go and run this. Actually, there's one more step which I didn't give it. So if I go to the here wiki, and so here payment. Actually, I'm telling that so you update the user ID and group ID of in the payment.ini file. So what is a payment.ini file here? Yeah, payment.ini file should be updated. So if you go to the payment.ini file, I'll try to show you from here. Payment.ini file. So it looks like this. It looks like this. All right. So that's where I will say, yeah. So I'm going to use the sed command to do that. So how do I do that is, so here, configuring the payment startup scripts. In the same place only, I will use another sed command, sed-i-e. So search for -e, search for not search basically. So yeah, search for now, not substitute, search for UID. UID space is equal to space UID space is equal to, and change that line UID is equal to dollar user underscore UID. Okay, and slash and hyphen e, so slash GID is equal to, okay, change that, GID is equal to dollar user underscore GID. So but how do I get this user ID and group ID? So you can get it GID. Okay, so here user underscore UID and user underscore GID. How do I get these? So by running some commands. Okay, how do I run some commands? So if any user is there, so so ID hyphen U CentOS. Okay, you're getting user ID. Okay, at the same time ID hyphen G CentOS. Yeah, you're getting it. So ID or ID hyphen G, which is in group. Yeah, that's okay. You're getting it. That's fine. It's working fine. So ID hyphen U CentOS and is equal to dollar ID hyphen G of CentOS. You update that also as a part of that one. Okay, finally, let's go to the payment server and the payment server, and here it is. See visual scripting and then RoboShop project ls. The new box. Okay, and over here, and I'm going to make git clone. Actually, I need to keep my this make actually every time installing is not a good idea. Okay, I should keep it inside my image. I'll do that. So yeah, sudo make space payment. So something I forget to give reader the output. So that is this. So here it is a catalog is given. It's actually going to be dollar component. Okay, and yeah, so here we miss the file also. It's actually going to be component slash what is the file name? The file name is payment.ini file. So mistakes are there. Cool, and I corrected them. So now go for git pull. Super. So ps-ef grep for payment. So you should see that as a payment is running. But actually talking about is it didn't actually modify this file, it seems. Okay. Why? Because actually it is given as a not CentOS. Actually, it should be given as a RoboShop. It should be given as a RoboShop. Okay. It's not CentOS. It's actually RoboShop. Also, CentOS is also fine. I think CentOS it's not able to start. So cd slash home slash RoboShop ls hyphen l. So cd all payment and do ls. So cat payment.ini file. It's all good actually, but yeah, but actually it's not able to start with CentOS user because the code CentOS user cannot reach this code. So that's where it started with the default user. So kill hyphen 9. I will just kill this process and we'll run it once again. Now it is running as a shop user. All good, all good. Okay, but the functionality of the application is really not working, and we need to enable the functionality. Okay, so how can I get the functionality? How can I do the functionality working is I should need to create the DNS names. So previously we are actually putting the IP addresses. Now keeping the IP addresses I'm not comfortable. Why? Because the IP changes all the time. So giving a name, you don't need to touch here something. So if something is changing, you can go and update the DNS record and everything works as expected. Okay. And what I'll do right now is I will terminate each and every instance. Okay, I'll go to the spot request. I think those are all spot instances only. So what I'll say is I'll just terminate the spot in all the spot instances. So I'll say cancel request. Or let's go to cancel. So that means it just terminates every instance. I want to put it from scratch and I want to run from scratch. Okay. Take every machine and run from scratch. That's what I'm planning to do. And also everything I probably prefer to run it from I probably prefer to server creations also. I will prefer to run it from shell script only, because shell scripting, right? So why do you do the things manually? So you can get into the UI. Okay, you can do the things manually. I mean, even if I can log into the server and execute the commands manually, but why I'm coming to the scripting? Because I need to improvise my approach, improvise my okay, so my time, whatever the effort I gave it, and everything, right? Now also in my case, basically I wanted to in my case also I wanted to what okay, improve my script basically here. Okay, so it's actually still going down. Let it go down, and then I will so try to run some shell commands which will create an instance in the backend, okay, automatically. Okay, how do we do that? So we'll see this. And the second thing is okay, where to run that particular commands. Okay, so I mean, most of you might be using a Windows machine, so it becomes a little tricky how to run shell commands in Windows. So I'll prefer to take one machine and I'll call it as my workstation. I'll just say that launch instance, and I'll go to my community MIs. You just take my image only, DevOps practice. I will just take this one machine. I'll put it up. I will use this. I will use this all the days. Okay, I'll use this all the time until we end the session. So that's where I'll just go and give so T3 small, I'll take configure instance details. I'll go for a spot only. So but spot has a persistent request, and put it as stop, so that even if I stop the machine also, it will not get spot will still consider that. Okay, and that is how it is. And so also yeah, this is fine. Basically this is fine. And the next thing is add storage. This is fine. The size is fine. Add tags, and I'm going to call it as workstation. Okay, so configure security group. So we already have one security group, allow all. We are launch, no keeper is needed. Okay, so in this instance, I will run some AWS commands, and I'll give access to this particular. I can give access. I can give access to this particular what we call to this instance to run something on my Amazon, and it will do that. Okay, but how do I give access? How do I give access? There are a couple of ways. So one way is Amazon allows you to create your own user. So that's where I'll just go and so there is a service called as IAM. Okay, so IAM. Okay, so there's a new feature actually. I think from yesterday only I'm observing. So you can type it here itself, IAM, and you can directly get the IAM service. Just right click, open new tab. That's fine. You get it there. Okay, Now on the left side, you can create some users. Okay, so add a user, and the username you can call it as, like, let's say my username, I'll give it. And I want console access or programmatic access. I want console access so that, you know, my AWS API, CLI, SDK, any other development tools contact Amazon by using command line access. So programmatic access. The console access, if you want, you have to give this and set some username and password for that particular user. That user can log into your account with the given username and password. So I don't want that. I'll go with X permissions and attach the add policies. Now this guy needs a complete access. I want to give him the whole access, so that's where I'm giving administrator access. Or if you want to put him under group also, you can do that. Or you can copy from another user also is fine. But for now, I'm giving administrator access. Okay, so next tags, review this one. Okay, it generates one kind of a username and password, but do not share these with anywhere, and do not keep this in the Git repository. You have to be very, very careful. If you keep this in the Git repositories, people will be there, you know, so looking for the keys and all. So they'll just hack your account. I mean, they'll just, you are opening your username and password, right? There's no hacking also. People are just kind of read all the Git repositories. That's it. Okay, you are keeping your username and password in the Git repository. That to be in the public, gone. Okay, so people will give a nice nice bill to you. Okay, so that's the reason you have to be very, very cautious when you're using this access key and secret key. You should keep either in your local system or inside a machine where, like, everyone doesn't have access. Okay, so be careful on this particular one. And yeah, so now first thing is sudo disable sudo su hyphen, I'll say that disable auto shutdown, and then set hyphen host name, which is set hyphen host name, which is workstation. Okay, su hyphen CentOS is a workstation now. Now I want to install our AWS CLI is already there. So AWS version, if I give, so you will get it, the AWS already pre-installed. So AWS hyphen version, I think. Okay, so the AWS CLI is already installed on that system. You need to go ahead and install it. Okay, so if you go to the workstation, and the installation is also simple, that's not a big deal. And so here AWS, you have to say that configure AWS. So it provides one access key and secret key. So that's the username kind of thing here, access IP ID, and is a password kind of thing, secret access key. Okay, and which region you are using, US East 1 all the time, East -1. Output format, let it be none only. Okay, this much. So that is nothing but a very, very secret username and password. Now I will go and give AWS S3LS. So my credential starts working. I'm not getting any response because I don't have S3 buckets. And AWS EC2, okay, this describe hyphen instances. So I have a lot of instances out there, so it just bombards with the output. Okay, so it just, you know, giving you a lot of output, okay, so I just press Q to come out. Okay, but yeah, so some instances are running, right? So now from here I can even create an instance also. So how do you create an instance? So you should start knowing about the command. You should start knowing about your AWS CLI command. Okay, you should start exploring your AWS CLI command. So AWS CLI. Okay, so enter. So you'll get a command line, and there itself in the documentation you will get it. So you go to the documentation, and so CLI reference, you will go there. So you will get all the options around that. Okay, so what is the option you're looking for? So you're looking for which service you want to create. I want to create an EC2 service, and come down, you'll find out EC2. And EC2 has a lot of options. Now, what is the option I'm looking for? The option I'm looking for is to create a server with create a server with a launch template which is already there. So launch template, create launch template version, delete launch template version, describe launch templates, get launch template data, modify launch template. That's what you're getting. But you're not getting any kind of so launch instance from a template. Okay, launch instance from a template you're not getting, but I'm not sure how to do that. Even I'm also not sure. So let's read the documentation more. So now here, create a hyphen instance. Okay, create hyphen instance is not coming. Instance. Okay, I think run instances, if I'm not wrong. I just opened the document in a new tab. So launch the specified number of instances in the AMI which you have permissions. Perfect. Okay, so this is the one I'm looking for. Run instances. And so now here I need to find it out. So is there any template I can provide? Because we already have a launch template. Yeah, you see this, you can always have a launch template already. Okay, now I'll be just using this option and I'll create an instance. Okay, even if you come down, you'll find out some examples also. Okay, if you come bit down, you'll find out an examples executed also, and you'll see the output. Yeah, here it is. Example 1, to launch an instance with a default subnet, and to the launch an instance on a non-default subnet, and launch an instance with additional volumes, launch an instance and add tags on creation. And so the next one is launch a instance with some user data, launch a bustable performance instances. Okay, like this, some examples are given, so you can use them. And like, let's say, yeah, if you want to try with your own option also, it is fine. Okay, so it is. Okay, so now I'll just go and try to use the launch template. So I'll just go and give here I want to launch an instance. So AWS EC2 run hyphen instances. Okay, run hyphen instances. Okay, and with the launch template. So you have to provide the value. Okay, but the launch template to use the launch, I know, so the launch template to use the launch template, any parameter that specifies in run instances, you can see that launch template ID, the standard syntax actually going to be this. And yeah, so you have to give launch template ID. But if you go to the Amazon and you go to the launch templates, you'll find out a launch template ID. So all I need to do is just bring this. Okay, and entered. Now what it is telling, launch template is actually expected is equal to, okay, it's actually expecting is equal to, not no, that's also not correct. Expected is equal to and received end of the file. Okay, I don't know what's going wrong, but let's see. Okay, so AWS EC2. So I'm not able to identify something. I don't want to read more documentation. I don't want to try more and more errors. Rather than that, I'll ask internet. Anyone give some example? Okay, AWS EC2. So CLI run hyphen instances with existing launch template. Okay, I'll find out. So CLI. So CLI is important. So if you do the CLI, so then you'll find out some examples, somewhere some blogs, okay, somewhere more documentation of Amazon. Amazon has its own blog. Okay, so somewhere you'll find out the option. So AWS CLI, if you just go for create launch template, you're getting. After creating a template, so here create a launch template from create a launch template from an instance. No, not even this. Managing a template, create a launch template version. No, not this, not this, not this. This is only about launch template only. Just dealing with the launch template, launching an instance using a launch template. Yeah, here it is. Launching an instance using a launch template. So run instances launch template ID equal to this one. Yes, is what is expected. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so this is the keyboard is expected there, and using that you put it, and it created one instance for you. Let's go and check it out. Yeah, there you go. You're getting one instance. So I will cancel this request. Why? Because I'm looking for more options. I'm looking for more options like, so by giving some more variables, can I give some variables? So here it is a variables, I mean tags basically. So I'm going to give some tags more to that command. So resource type is equal to instance, so tag is equal to key is equal to, I'm just going to say that this is a name, and this is starts with front end. Okay, so I'm going to provide some tags so that I will not go and launch 10 instances in one shot and later I can do that. Or even other, that is also fine, right? You can launch the instances in 10 instances in a one single shot is also fine. So now one more instance where I'm launching, so I'm calling that as a front end. Directly I'm giving the labels also. Now what I can do is I can just put this particular command in a script, and all will be created in a single shot. Okay, so I'll go to the spot request. Let me cancel this once again, and I'll put one more script. Cancel this request as well. I will run this particular script from EC2 launch launch EC2 instances. Okay, so here only I can go and say that new file launch -instances .sh. So here it is. So the first one I'm calling it as this one, and here it is /bin/bash. Now I need to run this one more time. So you just go with this and then call it as a catalog, and then one more thing, and I'll call it as MongoDB. So like this, you're actually making 10 things. And out of these 10 things, actually only the value which is changing here is only this one, only this one, only this one. Is there anything else is changing? No, there's nothing else is changing. Only this part is changing. Okay, so now I need to improvise my script. So putting this 10 times is, tomorrow I ask for 100, suppose can you write 100 lines? So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, right? So that's where there's one more concept in shell, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, so that is called as loops. Okay, so you have some loops, and I'll talk about some loop. So now let's say 10 loops.sh. So here I'm going to talk about first loop called as so for loop. So for loop is going to do what? So for I in, I'll show you practically. For I in, like let's say front end, and then catalog, and then Mongo. So three things you have given. Do. Okay, you can give do next line also is fine, and done in here also is fine, and in between I will see echo echo $i. Okay, echo, like let's say component is equal to $i. Okay, I'll sleep for 1 second and you try to understand what's really happening. Let's see this practically and you will understand it. Okay, so cd repos I'll just execute my local system only rather than pulling the code. So cd shell scripts ls cd, yeah. So bash, this is a bash script, so 10 loops, because my Mac as such is different, bash is different, so that's where I'm giving bash. So loops.sh. So you see this front, okay, component equal to front end, component equal to catalog, component equal to Mongo. So what is happening? This loop is actually you're executing the same command again and again, again and again. But what is really happening is it's really picking this I variable. I is a variable here, and so this is actually picking it up. I loading front end for the first time, I loading catalog for the next time, and I loading Mongo for the next time, and it came out automatically. So this is the There's a way of executing the for loop. Okay, for loop, when you have, okay, how many number of when you have how many number of items in your bucket, and also you want to run this particular one for those many times, then for loop is the preferred one. And there's another loop, so which is while loop. Okay, so while, so here usually it's going to be basically with putting some expression here. So expression you don't know yet, I can talk about that, but just for example purpose, or even while loop, let it keep aside. Okay, I want to talk about the pending topics in one shot. So for loop is more preferable for me. So now if I go to the instances, so then what I'm going to do for component in, I'll call it as front end, catalog, cart, user service, shipping service, payment service, MySQL database, Mongo database. What else? Mongo database, and what else is RabbitMQ. RabbitMQ and Redis. So these are all the 10 components. So then now do, so inside this you are putting this particular one and done. That means 10 times this command will run, loading these one values. Now I'm going to do is dollar component. That's it. Now 10 instances will be launched in a single shot. Okay. Now also I want to control this even in bit more. So case $1, okay, case $1 in, and case $1 in is so launch, I will say, then it will launch the instances. Okay. So and then double semicolon. Now if I say that so like let's say routes, so that means I'll update the route 53 records. Okay, I'll say echo routes or something like that, and double semicolon, and I'll go for exact. This is the plan I'm doing. Okay. All right. So yeah. So Visual scripting, video, virtual project, and sh launch instances.sh, so which is launch. So there is something wrong. Case $1 in launch, and you're giving line number 8 double semicolon. What is wrong? Okay, do you have given, done you have not given. Do done. There is something wrong. It's actually okay, an error. Okay, that's fine. What is the error? So it's actually I'm trying to replace a variable, and it's actually, how is it taking? Okay, so one more flower base has to be there. So so you see this open, one square bracket is open, it is there, closing is there, one more flower base is there, that's not closed, so you have to close that. Okay, so that somehow got missed. Actually, this AWS CLI command is actually trying to give the output. Okay. Yeah. So it's actually it did the thing, but I need to do a little bit modification. That's it. So I go to the instances. If I say instances only running, you'll see all the instances came out. Okay, I'll do a small modification, but I'll not run it once again. So redirect the output to /tmp/launch instances launch output. I'm actually putting that. And also I will say that, echo launching $component instance, spot instance in particular. Okay, fine. You got all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So see this how your life is becoming comfortable. You know the command and you just executed it and you got it in a single shot, right? So previously I was able to do that. Even if I go here, spot requests or launch template, you can put 10 instances, but every time I'm actually changing the tags. But whatever it is, I got it everything for now. Okay. The second thing, what I have to do. The second thing, what I have to do is I have to update these servers, and I have to take those particular servers. And then what I have to do is I have to update the DNS record. But how to update the DNS record? Okay, so I'll go there. But before to that, I just want to check any questions, any confusions until so far. I didn't got your question, Nick, basically.
Yeah, what I was saying was if you were going to put that as a function, then in the script itself, then do we need how would we take account for the credentials? But that in the script itself, that was my point.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, Nikhil.
No. Sorry. My only point was if you were going to put the for loop and create the servers in the shell script, then how would we take into account the secret access key and all that? That was the only question.
If you want to keep it in each and every, let's say you want to run front end, then at that time you want to run front end and you want to run that script also, something like that you're saying?
No. No, never mind. I can share that question differently offline with you. No problem.
Yeah. You can put I'm just trying to understand. So what and which way you are trying to make the script basically.
Okay. No. My only point was how we've got your mod in the shell script. You're creating everything on the left side with the catalog, and we've got the structure. And if we were supposed to do a separate shell script that would create the servers automatically, right? You've got the for loop there.
Yeah.
How would we take into account? Won't we need our AWS secret access key or whatever to access this so that it can run it?
It's already there, right? It's already there. I just did the AWS configure right earlier.
Yeah, on the right side, yes, it is.
Right side is nothing but a terminal. I just put the two windows in one screen just to not change the screens frequently. That's it. Nothing more than left side editor. Right side I'm putting the terminal basically. Nothing more than that, right? So this is the terminal. I connected to that. So where I have given AWS configured. So where I configure the username and password, and that's where my AWS CLI, when I launch the AWS CLI command from the script, so script still reads the access from the same session, right? So I'm still in the same session, same user, it can read the credentials from there. And that's how it is creating those 10 machines, how many machines, whatever you have provided in the loop.
Okay. If we were to just isolate this to do it manually, not do manually, but rather than just take care of it as a part of our whole module. I guess I'm not formulating my question very correctly.
No problem. You can do that. See, you have a requirement, right? You know the scripting and you have options out there. So all you need to do is just build it up, right? That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone? Any other? Yeah. Any exam? Sorry. Any other questions? See, for me, let me put in a very simple way even. Okay. So I'm not sure everyone would be knowing this, but still, like, let's say you go with some children, you know, the building blocks, you know, so some toys are there, right? So basically, so what you generally do is you'll be having that bits and pieces. I don't know what is the technical word they call it as, but still, yeah, you take this and what, you know, so whatever the shape you want to make it is your choice, but the scripting is something like a small piece here. How do you shape it is your vision basically. Okay, so that's a quite important thing in the scripting. So you have an idea, yes, you have a scripting as a tool, you can implement it, as simple as that. Okay, so yeah, so hope this gives some understanding generally. Hanumanta, I'm unable to hear you.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the spot instances. What is the difference between the like normal EC2 instances and spot instances?
So we already discussed in the previous session. I think you're not there, so you
Okay,
have to go back
okay.
with the videos once.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So, but just
Yeah.
to give you an overview, spot is to just to save the price basically, just to avoid the billing, major billing, because I'm running 10 instances. So, you know, I don't want to get a big bill. Okay. Even though I'm using a big 10 instances, I never got much bill. Okay. So if I go into my billing dashboard, so I'm still in the minimal billings only. Okay. So very hardly this one. So just to save the cost, I am actually trying to do this. Yes.
Okay. And Raghu, you also mentioned we can set up the whole AWS infrastructure by using Shell. You can also do this by Terraform also, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So on another note, basically, I can just put it in another simple way, right? So you cannot, you know, like let's say you're just born a baby, you're just getting a born baby. Okay, you cannot run immediately, right? It takes time. So step by step, step by step. So that's where we're talking about shell scripting. Shell scripting, I can assume the things, but it has its own problems. Okay, so we'll move step by step and we'll reach onto the Terraform. Of course, your point is correct. We can do that. But yeah, so just to run the shell scripts, I want those machines. I want to give some context that the things are possible here. Okay, so yeah, and yeah. All right. So shall we quickly run all the components, whatever we have ran, okay, so that we can just know that whether our, I mean, no. First of all, DNS record update. So now I need to update the DNS record. So that also I need to find out what is the command to do that. Okay. So here I'm doing EC2, but I'll go back and say, okay, I don't want EC2, I want Route 53, right? So you'll be finding out Route 53. So we just go to the Route 53 and you create a Route 53 record. Create record. So delete hosted zone, create hosted zone, create PC association, get. So where is the Route 53? If you're doing an older version, latest version, this is fine. I'm just thinking, where is my create? Okay, so other Route 53s are there. So Route 53 domains. Okay, I Not sure. So this AWS V2 is the latest version. I mean, if you just go with the AWS hyphen version, it's a kind of a latest version, so which released this year only, sometime 5-6 months back. I just started using it. I'm also not sure completely the option inside this, so but I'll just go with AWS Route 53 create record and CLI. Okay, so then I'll go, but this is AWS 1 documentation, but I don't want AWS 1 documentation. I want AWS 2 documentation. So V2, I have to go with V2. I don't know. Still, I'm getting these more documentations from internet. This is fine. And here also it is still Route 53 only. But what is the option? Yeah, but here there's a blog, actually there's an example, and what this guy is telling is change record. Okay, so rather than create, look for the option of change record sets. Okay, this is the option to create a record set, and even if it is already there, it will update it also. So I will prefer to go with this. Okay, I'm just going down to find out some examples. So all it reads is some JSON file. Okay, JSON file having the information about what it needs to update. Okay, so something like this. So this is the JSON file. I'm going to take it and I will keep it. Okay, so first thing first, I need to identify, okay, the IP address of the each and every machine. So the next thing is I'm going to do is updating route. So that's okay. So then I'm going to take the same for loop here also, but rather than actually creating a launch instances, EC2, now I'll go for describe instances. Okay, so describe hyphen instances. So describe instances is nothing but to get the list of instances, and out of that, so I just want to go for I want only, like, let's say AWS so AWS EC2 and describe hyphen instances. I just want to have it in a JSON format, so I'll just give JQ. So you'll see bombarded with a lot of output, just bombarded with a lot of output. I'm looking for all the output. No, I'm looking for only the IP address. Looking for only for IP address. But how do you get only the IP address? So here, here is the IP address, and I'm looking for this particular IP address. All right, but how do I get that? Okay, so but AWS EC2 describe instances, I want to apply some filter also now. Okay, I want to apply some filter and describe instances. If I go and if I apply some filter, come down, you'll find out examples. You give an instance ID, based on that you get that information. No, I don't want that. So you give some filters also. You see this, some filters also you can give and it will work. Okay, and some filters describe based on tags, right? This is a perfect one I'm looking for. Okay, and so if I go and give this, there's nothing. Now here the name is actually going to be tag colon name. Okay, and the owner, I mean the values is if it is front end, I want to get that particular server information. I'm getting it. Okay, now out of this output, I don't want all the output again. Okay, so then what I have to do is so this describe instance only will give you more information that how do you query a particular output. Okay, now if you see here, this output is actually giving in a JSON format. I don't want to make your life complex here, but just follow my command. Don't worry about this. I will take this later while I talk about Ansible. You will understand the okay, markup language. Okay, that time you'll get some clarity, but until then just be little, okay, try to just follow the command, just run the command, you get the things done. Okay, so pipe JQ you're giving, I prefer to go with JQ. Okay, I'm a JQ guy rather than relying on depending upon the AWS options. It also internally also uses JSON query only, but here I'll just give my own JSON. Okay, and you have this, and out of this I'm looking for in JQ I'm looking for reservations, and inside reservations I'm looking for instances. Okay, So that's where I'm going to give dot, okay, in double quote, in single quotes, dot reservations, and inside that dot instances. I'm looking for that, and inside that dot, so where is my IP address? It's actually inside my, oh, there are a lot of instances coming. So even though there are actually some, so state is pending, so some instances the state are terminated, I'm getting that. Okay, I don't want all instances. Yes, of course. So in the UI, actually, you're having a filter that's stating it is running. But if I close this and you see this, there are other instances as well, right? So now I want only the instances which are running. So I want to put that particular filter first of all. Okay, so the filter wise, I want to say that instance which are running. So here, so hyphen filters, I think we have given one filter. Can I give multiple filters? Is there some example about giving multiple filters? Name is equal to instance type. Yeah, you have, but you cannot use hyphen filters multiple. So what you need to do is you have to go with here only some space you have to give. And so what is the state, right? Yeah, so here you have to give instance state name. This is for query filters only, right? In the filters, this is the keyword, okay? And I will say that name is equal to this one, and comma values of that one is equal to running. There's an error because of JQ. Okay, let's identify some more from the documentation. This. Okay, but this guy is giving without quotes. I should consider that. Okay, so here. Perfect. So now inside this, you're actually going to get only one instance only. So reservations dot reservations, and inside that dot, don't worry about that, I'm telling you. So later you will get some understanding. Dot instances, that's also a list dot. So, and I'm looking for particularly the IP address, right? So dot private IP address. This is what the one I'm looking for address. So you print that. Perfect, right? So now what you're going to do is you're just going to run this particular command, okay, and say this, okay, you're going to put this AWS EC to describe instances. You're going to do this, and here it is actually going to be $component. That's it. And instance state is equal to this one and running, and you're going to get the private IP address. And I'm going to take this into a variable, okay. So IP is equal to this one, okay. And like let's say if I give echo $component and $IP. So if I just run this particular script so that I'll get some understanding whether I'm really pulling the things or not. We'll cross verify as well. And so sh long launch instance, and then it's actually going to be a routes, right? You give routes. What is the mistake you're giving? There is something wrong. It is telling a pipe symbol. Where is pipe symbol? Yeah, here it is, a dollar symbol is missing. Command substitution, dollar symbol is missing. So you see this, oh, every time you're getting a launching instance. No, this is not needed. Once again, front-end IP address, catalog IP address, user IP address, and things like that. Okay. So in line number 19, I'm getting some error, and done actually, yeah, done should not be needed. One more run. Yeah. So you will not have any kind of issue. So now I have the information that, so this is the IP address. Now I can go ahead and create a DNS record. That's it, right? So now you see this is the one. Okay. Now front-end IP address is this one. Let's see. I'll go to the UI and type only this one. Now you're getting a front end. Yeah, I remove the filter and I'll go like, let's say MySQL. I take this MySQL and randomly I'm checking MySQL. Perfect, right? So you're getting the appropriate IPs. Now the appropriate DNS record should be created. So how do I create appropriate DNS record? So there is a CLI command out there. I just need to follow that. So what this guy is actually giving is, so there is some, the DNS file is created. So I'll just go and view record.json something, and you put this particular file. Now here there are a couple of things which need to be modified. So here, what all the things need to be modified here is, this is the IP address. Okay, and what is your domain? Basically my domain is DevOps B, DevOps B53.tk. Okay, I create it. Okay, so this is the JSON file. Now what I wanted to do in my launch instance.sh is, I want to take this particular one and say that, hey, std-e, so search for IP address and replace it with $, $IP. Okay, replace it with $IP. All right, replace it with $IP, and it's actually going to be as a record.json file. Okay, now let's see what's going to happen now. Okay, that record.json is actually updating or not updating. We'll understand this now. So now it's actually updating the IP address. It's actually updating the IP address, right? But the record name is actually not a DevOps B53.tk. I think it has to be the name of that particular component. So that means in my record.json, this is actually not, name is not the domain name. The name is actually the name of the DNS record, and that's where component-test. Okay. So now actually in the launch instances, what I have to do is, and so there is one more one I want to make it -e. So search for component, and replace it with, here the variable is there, right? So the component. So I will replace this. Now try to see this, how it's actually coming. So see this front-end test machine, this one will come. Front catalog test machine, the IP address will come. So for each and every component, that one will come. Okay. So the record, the JSON file is coming as expected. Okay. Now I have to pass this particular JSON file to the command line. Now what is the command line? So here is the command line. So you just give this. That's it. Okay. So you just give this. And over here, I am actually going to update my JSON file. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to update this one to /tmp/record.json file. Okay, I'm redirecting the output of this particular one to record.json file. And now what I'm going to do is, or like, let's say put it like, $component.json file. And now this command, so Route 53 change and hosted zone ID will get it there, and this one is so /tmp print.json file. And all I need is a hosted zone ID. We created a hosted zone Route 53 sometime back, right? So Route 53. And when you actually made to Route 53, we got created one domain that has one unique ID. I have to bring that ID. Hosted zone. So this is the ID for this. Now I push the change. Now let's see. And if I go to the DevOps b53.tk, so there are very minimal records. Okay, and even I don't want them. In fact, I can just delete the records. Delete it. Okay, all clean. Mine is all clean. Now if I run this particular script, so then what automatically I'm expecting? All the records of -test should be created with the appropriate IP address. So there is something wrong. So when calling change records with the DNS username is not permitted. Okay, I think I think we should create an upsert. There is small update I need to make it. So here you need to upsert actually. Upsert, insert is different. Okay, upsert is nothing but update, and as well as insert. Okay, insert and update is called as upsert. Update will update only if it is already there. Insert if it's not there only it will insert. But if you want to combine the combination, so then you have to use upsert. Okay, this is a very common word actually in kind of development world or mathematical, right? So yeah, upsert is nothing but if the record is already there, you cannot insert. That's a problem. If the record is not there, you cannot update. That's a problem. So just to avoid that particular problem, this upsert come into picture. Avoid it. Okay. Now it will go and update if it is not there. So that even that also is not coming up. Is not permitted in zone. This one. Okay. Okay. So I'll go with the DevOps b53.tk. Okay. I might need to give the full domain. Run once again. Yeah, perfect. It's actually creating. I think it's just need the full domain name. That's it. Okay, now if I go and refresh here, so you should be seeing all the records came into, right? All the records came into, and these records are being referred by your shell scripting, and you run your shell scripts on each and every machine, and the things should be working fine. Okay, perfect.
Raghu, that upsert is a shell command or?
Not shell command, right? So this is a keyword actually inside Amazon Route 53. But it's a very common word. It's not really related to Amazon, but it's a very common word, right? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Is everyone clear on the approach what we made now? So how we got the records? Just to make my life easy. So tomorrow, if I want my 10 machines, I just run this script, the same script with launch, same script with so routes. You will get route 53 records created, and as well as machines created, and then the route records also created automatically in a single shot. Okay, so that's the beauty. Right. So you should start smelling the powerfulness of automation, right? Scripting generally. Okay, so if I do it manually, at least it takes minimum 5 minutes, even though I'm super fast. But now I just made the things, I just execute it, things are moving. Okay, fine. So this is fine now. Now what is the next thing is we need to check our scripts are really working in the new machines or not. Okay, so I'll start with a one by one machine. So first machine is actually going to be state is running, we'll get only running instances. We'll go to front end. Okay, so the front end machine, and what I have to do, copy this. or sudo first yum install make -y. I'm just giving all the commands in a single shot, so that inside that you have to go with the roboshop -project. Go inside that location and the sudo make, I will say, and then so why to stop actually? I'll move on to the next machine. So and I'll go to the next system. The next system is shipping I'm having here, or I'll just start with one by one, the same way Mongo. Okay, so I'll start in an order. I'll start looking into the issues also. We'll fix it in parallel. So here, SSH, this one. I will just copy this command somewhere. Mongo. And even in fact, I can go for another one, so which is a catalog one. Right here, I'll say catalog. So this this Mongo is also successful. Front end is successful. Catalog is successful. A catalog is going to come now. And if catalog is also successful, I'll open the UI and see whether the things are really successful or not. Perfect. Catalog service is started. I'm just curious about looking into the logs, so that from here only I'll understand tail-f where log messages. So I'm getting Mongo network error. So why I'm getting Mongo network error? Let's take a look. So //etc /etc systemd system slash I believe there is a small overlap actually. Here I'm calling it as MongoDB, okay, but here the record is just Mongo. That's the mistake I have. Okay, so that I will just update in my catalog.sh. So it's not really MongoDB. It's actually the DNS record is only just Mongo. So still it will not work. Why? Because systemctl daemon reload is a command. Daemon -reload. Reload is an option I'm supposed to do. I think I'm missing that option here. So that's the reason it's really not working. Or in fact, it's actually a start. He actually didn't restart it first of all. Okay. Systemctl restart the catalog now. And now if I go and say that tar, so MongoDB connected. So that's one thing which I have made it. And appropriate changes, if I make it, I think I'm giving system daemon reload, but actually here if I make it restart is better than start. So that it will restart if there are any changes even. Or it restarts, if any changes are there, it will load them. So that's the idea. So now if I go and hit this particular server on the browser, my front end, okay, I'm expecting the catalog items to be printed there, right? I'm not getting catalog items. Why? Because Nginx is having Nginx is supposed to be updating the configuration, and that configuration front end you're not doing it, I think. Okay, so you're actually updating the localhost.conf file with the RoboShop, this one, but this roboshop.conf file is having all localhost informations. Okay, so this need to be updated. This need to be updated, but how do I update here? How do I update it here? So this is a little tricky part. Okay, because there are a lot of local hosts in every line, every place. Okay, and do that. Now what I can do is here, little making life easy. What I can make the configuration is I will go here and I will say I'll go to the this localhost.conf file, whatever you are keeping it here. Why I'm getting everything. Okay, let me 1 second. Yeah, now you got it. Now I can put it in the same line just for my flexibility only. I'm having only one rule, so I will just put it in single line. This is possible. If this is possible, okay, so then it makes my life easy. So it need not be on the same second line. It can be on the same line as well. Inside the flower braces, the content, you can put it in same line also. The Nginx will still work, and I just want to use that particular approach. See, otherwise I had to put little bit effort to, a lot of effort to update the things, and the things might work or might not work also, I'm not sure. So this works fine, so that's where I just want to give a try. Okay, let's give a try. So let's, I can just go and do git pull sudo make. So small changes are coming because of automation. Earlier manually it doesn't really needed. So but now the things are needed. So sudo su hyphen and cat /etc system cat /etc Nginx and then default.d and then roboshop.conf file. It's not really updating the things. Why? Because did I not pushed? Let's see. I push the changes. And what is my automation telling update Nginx configuration is happening? Okay, so let me take a look on the frontend.sh. What I'm doing, removing here, this, and moving the configuration file to here. It's all good. I am thinking it should be some other reason. I know this, but I'm just thinking something else. So there is su hyphen cat /etc. Yeah, I know the reason now. The reason is basically I need to just try to click on download as a zip file. A new URL come into picture. I just need to be updating the new URL. So copy link address. Yeah. So now you see this, you are getting the latest content. Now you're getting the latest content. I know I'm just crossing the time. We'll just update this and we'll close it. Okay. So now here I just need to update the configuration. So here you move this, and now std-i-e. So there's a lot of work we should be doing it here now. So here I'll be updating search for okay, so now this is a little tricky part. So not tricky, we already discussed about this. So you search for a word called as catalog, you search for a word called as catalog, and update that particular one as catalog. Okay, so you substitute okay, localhost, whatever is there, is that with you substitute localhost with catalog hyphen test.devopsd 53.tk. okay, so that is what is given. Okay, so this, and the file name is this file name, and restart Nginx. So I just, for time being, so whether this first request is really working, first change is really working or not, I will just run it here. Now cat this Nginx file, you see this, it's working perfectly. So what I'm doing is searching is, the search criteria is, previously you're substituting, so substituting is actually happening on every line. But what I'm telling is, hey, substitute only the lines which is having a catalog, a line is having a word called as catalog, and replace that line. If you find out any local host, replace it as this. Replace as this. So that's what you are told, and you just do that for other components. So for cart, replace it as cart. For user, replace it as user, and shipping, replace it as shipping. So payment. Okay, so all been updated now. Now let's go and run that. So everything done. So now come here. If I refresh, I'm expecting the category should be coming up. Perfect. Previously, so it's not able to point to the right person, and it's not able to do that. Now you pointed to the right endpoint. It's working fine, isn't it? So yeah, that's how you can go ahead and test the remaining components as well, and you ensure that everything is working as expected. Okay, I think that's all. Probably you have seen that, right? So yeah, that's fine. I'm just canceling all the requests. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's all from my side. So, but we need to wrap it up. There are a few more options we haven't talked about in shell scripting. Probably Monday, I'll try to take them into picture, and we'll discuss about them. So we'll try to update our scripts accordingly. If there is any best way we can do that, any logical improvements we can make it, we can think through and we can make an update. And from there, okay, we'll talk about what are the problems we have faced so far, and what is being addressed through shell scripting, and still what are the problems which is left over, and what tool can address those particular problems. Okay, so that's where we'll move on to the next tool from there. So yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, any questions? Any questions, confusions? It's a weekend. I'm okay for general talk also. No issues. So I'll just pause the recording. Like if you have any kind of queries like of the record also, you can ask me, no problem. Okay. So otherwise you can drop. So technically the topic wise I'm done. So anything we'll meet on Monday and we can just, so we'll get, the topics wise we'll continue on Monday session. Yeah.